Hello everyone, and thank you for tuning in to the Wasabi Aquarium channel. In today's video, we will explain how to choose the best size of your aquarium. This video should be helpful for those who are not too sure what size aquarium is best for your house or your environment, or what differences are caused by changing the size of your aquarium, as well as any beginners who are wondering what size aquarium they should start with. Actually, the most important decision to make when starting your aquarium is choosing its size. If you choose the wrong size, all procedures after that become much more difficult than they're supposed to, and it's also impossible to start your aquarium from scratch once you start building your layout. Thus, you must think carefully when choosing the size of your aquarium, as this is the most important step. So, for those of you who are on your way to buying the necessary equipment and start building your layout, I strongly recommend watching this video until the very end, and you'll know exactly what the size of your aquarium should be. First of all, let's start by explaining the different choices you have to choose from. The size of aquariums can be separated into three categories: regular, large, and small. The standard regular sized aquarium usually points at the 60 centimeter tank, so 60 centimeters in width, 30 centimeters in depth, and 36 centimeters in height. This is what we call a standard sized aquarium, and basically anything bigger than this, such as a 90 by 45 by 45 centimeter aquarium, is considered a large category aquarium. And anything smaller, such as a 45 centimeter tank or anything smaller than that, fits in the small aquarium size category. Recently, there are also more and more variations in aquarium sizes, such as tanks that are as wide as 90 centimeters but don't have as much depth and are slim, or 60 centimeter wide tanks that are as deep as 45 centimeters. So although there are more choices than there used to be, the important first step is to know that there are three basic sizing categories to choose from. And now, moving on to the main question, which is what size aquarium should we choose when first starting a layout? To start with the conclusion, it is best to choose the largest aquarium that fits in the environment you can provide. I'm sure most of you already have a pretty good idea of where you'll be placing the aquarium inside your house, so calculate the largest aquarium that can physically fit inside that space. For example, if you're planning to place your aquarium in a large room with no specific restrictions, I would choose a 90 centimeter large-sized aquarium. But why is it best to choose the largest possible aquarium? The three main reasons why you should choose a large tank are: 1. Consistency of your water quality, 2. The amount of freedom when building your layout, and 3. The amount and variety of fish you can choose to include. The first point is the most important reason, which is the consistency of the quality of water inside your aquarium. One very important fact that beginners often forget is that maintaining the quality of your tank is much more difficult than actually building out a layout, as you face a lot of obstacles such as the aquarium plants not growing well and more. And these issues are usually caused by the inconsistency in the quality of your water. The biggest way to prevent these issues is to start with a large tank, because the bigger your tank, the more water you can fill, and the more water that you have inside your tank, the easier it is for the water quality to stabilize. An example to describe this point is if you can imagine taking a cup of water and a 2-liter bottle of water from the same fridge and placing them outside. Of course, the water in the smaller cup will become lukewarm at a much faster pace than the water inside the 2-liter bottle. The smaller aquarium, which in this example is the smaller cup, is much more easily affected by its surroundings, especially heat. Another important thing to note is the pace in which the water becomes dirty. Going back to the example I just gave, the quality of the water in the cup will deteriorate at a much rapid pace than the water inside the 2-liter bottle. On the other hand, the water inside the bottle will also become bad, but at a much slower pace than the water inside the cup. In an aquarium, there are many factors that constantly make the water dirty, such as the fish's waste or remainders of food for the fish, and these pile up and affect the quality of your water much easier in a smaller space and not as fast inside a larger aquarium. Thus, for example, if you're busy at work and forget to change the water as scheduled, smaller aquariums cannot tolerate that, while larger aquariums can make it through without changing the water as scheduled once or twice. This is the biggest benefit in having a large-sized aquarium. The second benefit to having a larger-sized aquarium is the freedom you have when building your layout. For most enthusiasts, plant aquariums are all about implementing your own creative design into your layout, and in order to create a design that has both an amazing view and depth, it is much easier to have a larger canvas. You may not think so at first, but the depth is where you'll see the biggest difference. For example, in a 60 centimeter aquarium with a 30 centimeter depth versus a 90 centimeter aquarium with 45 centimeter depth, that extra 15 centimeters allows for so much more freedom, from placing bigger materials or planting more aquarium plants. I'm sure a lot of you have experienced finding materials such as stones or wood that were exactly what you were looking for but were too big to fit inside your tank. By having a large aquarium to start off with, you're given the freedom to design and use the materials that you want to create your ideal layout design. This is especially a strong advice for anyone who is trying to add a sense of depth to their aquarium, because depth is very difficult to create without actually having a deep tank to start with. Although it is not impossible, there is a limit to the effect you can create within a small aquarium, so I would strongly suggest building your layout in a large aquarium. The third benefit to having a large aquarium is the amount and variety of fish you are able to choose from. You have to always keep in mind that you are building out an environment for your fish to swim in, so it's always important to consider what the best environment is for your fish. For example, placing large fishes in a small aquarium makes it very stressful and is definitely not the ideal environment. By having a large aquarium, you are able to fit a wide range of sizes of fish, and you are also able to fit more numbers. For example, if you want to see small fish swim in large groups. There actually is a specific method to calculate the ideal amount of fish inside your tank depending on the size of your aquarium, which I've covered in detail in some of my previous videos, so I'll leave some links in the description below. So please keep in mind that you are building the ideal environment for your fish at all times, and the larger your aquarium, the more choices you have. So now some of you may ask, so the biggest aquarium is the perfect size for everybody? Which is in fact not the case, so let me provide 3 negative aspects of large aquariums. The first point is weight, number 2 is your budget, and number 3 is the amount of time it takes to build your layout. The first point is very obvious, but the larger your tank, the heavier it becomes, and 90 centimeter tanks are especially very heavy. So it's important to check beforehand if your floor or wherever you're trying to place the aquarium can hold that weight. The second concern is your budget. The bigger your tank, the more powerful your equipment needs to be. From a stronger set of lights to larger CO2 pumps, you need a more powerful version of each of the basic equipment, which inevitably raises your total budget. The actual amount of equipment you need does not change in comparison to the smaller aquariums, and we have also done multiple videos of what specific equipment you need when starting a new layout. So please take a look from the description below. But overall, a larger aquarium requires a larger budget, which could be a concern to some of you. So please keep in mind your budget at all times when starting a new layout. The third concern is the amount of time it takes to build your layout. The biggest problem you will face when building out a large aquarium is finding the right layout material. For regular aquariums such as this 60 centimeter tank, you'll probably find most of the materials that you'll need without any problem. But for a 90 or 120 centimeter tank, you'll need to find larger, more unique and impactful stones or wood, which are more rare and sometimes cannot be found in aquarium shops. At our store, for example, we have a lot of large materials constantly in stock because we found out that a lot of our customers are into building large layouts, but that is not the case for many aquarium shops. You also need a larger quantity of aquarium plants and a lot of time to plant them, which could also be a concern when choosing the size of your aquarium. Lastly, I would like to suggest the overall best size for beginners. Of course, as I explained just now, it is definitely the bigger the better, but I also do understand that not everyone has the physical environment to implement a 90 or 120 centimeter aquarium, or are not ready to start too big. So what size is just right for beginners who cannot start too big? The answer is very clear and is actually right behind me. Yes, it's the 60 centimeter regular sized aquarium. There are multiple reasons why this size is best to start with, including a relatively reasonable budget as well as the water quality still being relatively easy to maintain. The layout materials for 60 centimeter tanks can also most likely be found at any aquarium shop nearby and does not take as much time to lay the materials out as well as planting the aquarium plants. So overall, everything is just right and the balance is perfect. So for beginners, the 60 centimeter aquarium is the best place to start. For those who are limited in space and cannot fit a 60 centimeter aquarium, I would then consider the next biggest size, which would be the 45 centimeter tank. If that's still too big, then the 30 centimeter tank, and so on. So please choose the biggest possible aquarium that fits inside your physical space that you can allocate. Yes, it's true that the smaller your aquarium, the lower your budget will be, but your aquarium becomes much more sensitive to issues related to maintenance. For example, the speed at which algae form and other issues that can impact your aquarium in a negative way, so please make sure to consider all factors when choosing the size of your aquarium. As I mentioned at the beginning, if you choose the wrong size, it's very difficult to go back to reset your aquarium, so please watch this video thoroughly and decide which aquarium size works best for you. If you have any additional questions or comments, feel free to write them in the comment section below. Although we may not be able to answer each question individually, we will create additional content based on the popular questions we receive. Please also leave a comment, like, and make sure to subscribe to the Wasabi Aquarium channel. We will continue to create helpful content for aquarium lovers, so your continuous support would be very much appreciated. That's it for today. Thank you.